For Marty Meehan, life is about to come full circle. Growing up in Lowell, Marty learned many important lessons from his parents. The importance of family, the value of education, and the willingness to stand your ground no matter how tough the fight. These lessons would serve Marty well throughout his career, as a young congressional aide to Jim Shannon, as a prosecutor in the district attorney's office, and as a member of Congress representing the 5th District. But what matters most to Marty Meehan can't be found on the floor of Congress, but on the Little League fields in Lowell and the beach in Seabrook. After 14 years in Congress, Marty Meehan is moving home to Lowell to be with his family and become Chancellor of the University of Massachusetts at Lowell.
I'm going to be the new chancellor here.
The same university that graduated Marty 29 years ago.
You guys getting ready? Looking forward?
Those lessons learned in Lowell helped shape the man who became a United States congressman and now a university chancellor.
I'd like to think that Marty's first exposure to the 5th Congressional District came when he worked on my staff back in 1979 and 1980. Of course, he knew Lowell well.
I've known Marty a long time now. We had the same job as first assistant district attorney, and also Lowell. And the fact that I lived in Lowell for a period of time, and Marty, grew up in Lowell. It's his home.
Marty is part of a legacy of great public service in the Middlesex DA's office. And, he's one of those people himself and Senator Kerry, both who were first assistants in the Middlesex DA's office, who really speak to the legacy of public service.
We had some tremendous prosecutors in the office. I remember hiring Jerry Leone into the office, working with people like Martha Coakley and Tom Riley. I think that a lot of the experience and skills and training that I got were useful to me on the floor of the Congress.
When you go to Washington, you meet a lot of congressmen who spend their time in Washington. They legislate. They're not involved in economic development issues or working with the local communities as much as we are here in Massachusetts, and particularly in this district.
The 5th Congressional District is a revolutionary district. It encompasses the American Revolution in Concord, the Industrial Revolution in Lowell, Lawrence, and Haverhill, the beginnings of the labor movement in Lawrence, the transformation of our economy through innovation and globalization. And everyone who's represented this seat, I think, has gone with a commitment to the district as well as an understanding of the broader national and international issues that affect us here.
It's a seat that's, I think, almost always throughout its history had progressive leadership that's been on the forefront of national issues.
I think that the whole tradition of redefining that role began with Paul Tsongas back in the mid-70s, and I think clearly has carried through Marty's tenure. The pattern is somebody gets elected to Congress and they're full of energy for the first couple of terms, and then they kind of fall into a rut. Nothing's new anymore, and they don't bring the same sort of enthusiasm. I can tell you that he is as enthusiastic about the things he's doing in Washington and in the district today as he was when he first got down there.
It's America's crime bill, and it works. And we shouldn't be getting into partisan politics determining authorship.
In a time of war, this administration and this Congress has an obligation to tell the truth.
From the time he first came here, I sort of always had an eye out for him, and I just admired him so much for taking on the big issues and the little issues. I mean, he was really the national leader in campaign financing reform, so important for this country.
Senator McCain and I linked up in the Senate, which was sort of an unusual thing to have a Republican and Democrat, different ideologies come together, and we realized that the same thing was happening in the House with Marty Meehan and Chris Shays. And so we decided to create what was sometimes referred to as the Fab Four. So it wasn't just bipartisan. What was even more unusual was that it was bicameral. It was almost unheard of. And it had a great deal to do with Marty's personality, which always eased the situation.
We worked with John McCain and Russ Feingold, and so it was McCain, Feingold, Shays, Meehan. Now, Marty and I think we did the heavy lifting, and it should have been Shays, Meehan, but this is what John McCain said. He said, if the Supreme Court declares it unconstitutional it's Shays Meehan, and if it's constitutional, it's McCain-Feingold. So we were grateful to have it be McCain-Feingold.
In a period where the House has become incredibly polarized and poisonous, and where you get beat up if you try to work with someone in the other party, the Meehan-Shays partnership was highly unusual, extraordinarily effective, and really changed the way campaigns are financed in this country.
His commitment to you all, to real people, to reform, to honest government, it knows no parallel in the modern era.
Congressman Meehan, it is a great honor that I present to you the Massachusetts John Gardner Public Service Award for outstanding leadership in the public interest and commitment to the principles of open and accountable government. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
He was an indispensable leader in Congress on the toughest kinds of issues, because these issues affect all of his colleagues.
It was very deeply involved in questions involving the regulation of the tobacco industry, which I think will have a major public health impact on the next couple of generations of Americans.
The tobacco companies win whenever there's a debate in this House, but the people in America lose.
They lied to Congress and lied to the American people, lying about a product that clearly, if used as directed, kills people, then I think they ought to be held accountable.
I'm proud that Big Tobacco considers me to be one of their top enemies in Congress, and I wear that as a badge of honor.
He never forgot his district. He never forgot that what really was important is how his representation affected the people that voted for him, the people that he was elected to serve and represent.
He's been involved in transportation, revitalization, preservation, economic development, you name it, he's been so much a part of it.
Riverwalk that runs behind us that connects the university to the downtown, Congressman was instrumental in getting that done.
Lawrence has really reaped the benefits, I think, of a person like Marty. Being from a city like Lowell, which is pretty much the same, an old mill city that has done a great job at reinventing itself.
Marty, when he came into Congress, picked up very seamlessly those fights that are going to keep open space, recreational areas, green space there available for generations into the future.
Congressman Meehan has definitely embraced that legacy, understanding his important role in being engaged in our communities here.
I was actually running for state rep, and he was running for Congress. And then I lost and he won, and I interviewed for a job with him, but he wouldn't hire me. Oh well, just as well, I think, in the end. And we went to a football game together as our first date.
But Marty's the real deal, isn't he? And the Kennedys will always have the very special kind of association and affection with him. The idea that he named his son after my brother Bob was always very touching.
I came, like many assistant DAs at a low level, at a very low salary. I came to first assistant DA Meehan and asked him about the possibility of getting a car. I got a call from him about a week later, and showing just what a creative manager he was, he told me to go out to a police station, and there in fact was a car there waiting for me, a car that had been bee-ridden, full of bees' nests.
Marty had the opportunity to help the Boys and Girls Club with a very large grant that helped them build their new building. And he challenged me to a game of what they call horse, and I never thought that he knew how to even shoot the ball. I thought I'd easily kill him. And he beat me like 7-0. He beat me and he embarrassed me.
Other than his mistaken and fanatical advocacy of the New England Patriots, he's superb.
The reality is only through education can people in the United States or any country have the chance, the opportunity to achieve their full potential. And in Congress, I've tried to work as hard as I can to provide more equality and opportunity for people who live in the United States, whether it's by increasing the amount of money we put into student loans, increasing the amount of money we fund to education in general.
I could see Marty pounding on my door and saying, you know, I need money for the technology center and I need this. He'll be a terrific advocate, and he'll be relentless, and we all will have to learn how to, move the other way in the hall when we see Marty coming.
It was a perfect fit at the right time, the right person with the right energy. Congressman Meehan is going to be a great chancellor of UMass Lowell. I think he'll be able to take us to that next level.
Lowell University's got an extraordinary opportunity. A lot of the nanotechnology is picked up by small companies in that region, and Marty was sort of on top of this before people kind of knew how to spell nanotechnology. And this is going to be an incredible center which he's going to help lead, and it'll make a big difference in people's lives.
Well, if I were a student, Marty would be just the kind of person I would want to be the president of my school. Not only does he have a wonderful background, not only will he be a good administrator, but his personal touch, his ability to relate directly to people, and I'm sure it'll be a wonderful asset to the school. I just wonder how much Marty's going to miss Senator McCain saying every single time he sees him, Marty, Marty.
I'm personally happy for him. He gets to spend a lot more time with his wife and kids, which I think is very important.
It will be great to have Marty home. Since we've been married 11 years, he's been in Washington, and I think now the kids are at an age where they really would be happy to have him around all the time, and it certainly would help balance our lives and family a lot better. So I know they're really looking forward to it, and I am too.
I think it's a meaningful family transition for him. I think it's a meaningful personal transition in terms of his dad, who grew up there and never imagined his kid would be in the Congress, let alone chancellor of the university. So I think it's a really nice circle, and I think he feels that way. I think it's very personal.
I have a passion for that institution, and frankly, I got the foundation that I needed there to go on and get a master's degree and get a law degree, and I feel passionate about giving something back to an institution that prepared me to achieve whatever I've wanted to achieve. I've met with presidents, with members of Congress, with world leaders, had an opportunity to travel around the world on behalf of the United States and represent the United States, and I got that opportunity because of the foundation that I got at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, so I'm looking forward to it.